Hi, Jay Frederick Smith here, Continental Realty of Jackson. We're at 2462 North Seabury Place in the Sandalwood neighborhood in sunny Jacksonville, Florida. And we're just getting ready to head on in here and kind of take a look around at this townhome. We've already looked at the outside, what we could see of it. We're going to look at the back yard as part of the kind of the inside tour. We're going to do the outside as well. Let's just start here with the kitchen that's on the left. The kitchen is obviously not very big. This is it, the whole thing. But you do have a nice window to look out from the sink if you're washing your dishes. There's no dishwasher, so you would be spending time there in front of that sink to take care of your dishes. And you get a chance to look out at the street, which actually doesn't look too bad. It's a nice little street out there in a pretty decent little neighborhood. There is a cut through. If you are at the stove, you can have a look out at the main living space while you're busy, working your range. And cabinet space isn't too bad. For the size of the kitchen, you do have some uppers as well as, a reasonable amount of lowers, and they look like they're in good shape. There's no pulls or anything, which is too bad. I kind of like pulls on my cabinets, but I guess that's what it is. Vaulted ceilings throughout this house. Some of these ceilings are super, super high, which makes a place really feel airy and spacious. There is a pull-down ladder in the hallway for the attic, so there's some attic space as well, which is quite unusual. I'm not really sure how much attic space. Looking at this, it can't be very much. It might just be a pull-down to give you like some storage up above or access to the HVAC there. Windows way up high in the living room to let in a whole lot of light. Ceiling fan on a bar. White style one, older, but it's still okay, and it probably does a nice job of helping to keep the place cool. The main air handler is going to be in this little closet. I can tell because of the louver doors. That's what you're going to see. Also looks like that's where the water heater is. This water heater is pretty dusty. I can't really tell how old it is. And sometimes a water heater, the age of the water heater will make a difference to being able to get insurance. So I don't see any rust, just a lot of dust. Even when I'm looking down here at the bottom of the pan, maybe there's a little bit of damage along the bottom edge there where you can see the paint kind of down here is chipping, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a problem. It is in a pan, which is good. It's just dusty. And that's not surprising considering that all the air in the whole place recirculates through this closet. Now the air handler itself looks pretty clean. Looks like there's a new filter and a filter in the unit, which is going to help keep the air blowing without blowing a bunch of dust around. But as the air comes in through these louvered doors to get up into that air compressor, you're definitely going to get a ton of dust. And it looks like what they've done is they've opened it up, underneath here. So although it's hard to see, right up there between those 2x4s is the access to the air handler from the underside. So the air goes through that filter there and up into the unit, which is why you've got it just packed with dust up in here. That's kind of a silly design, but you get your vacuum in there with a little wand every once in a while, and that'll be just fine. In the hallway here now, we've got a big closet, washer dryer hookups. So the washer dryer hookups are in this closet space, which, let me just step back, you can see it's nice and big. Problem for me is that these are facing the main part of the living room. So if I was standing in here and I looked out, what I would see is the living room. And what that means is that sound is going to travel from those units straight out into your main living space. Other than that, plenty of space here for your washer dryer. And the doors are really nice, installed correctly. They are lined up nice and square. There's not a weird gap between the seams. The poles for the doors are exactly where they're supposed to be. Thank you so much. So I think what we're going to do is head into what is probably the master bedroom. This is at the end now of the unit. We're going to head back towards the front, down the hallway there, and see the other in just a minute. But this gives you a nice picture view out the back. A vinyl double pane windows. Although the seal is broken on this one, you can tell because of the fogginess. And what that means is that some air and moisture is getting in. It does mean that there's a reduction in its ability to insulate, but it's not a huge reduction. It's still just a reduction. With these aluminum frame windows like this has probably been around for 20 years. It's not surprising that one of them has lost its seal. It's hard to fix that, really. These kind of windows would need to be replaced. This looks out over the backyard, which is really small. There's not a lot of grass there, and there's a lot of this stonework. So you have a big patio, and then you have a bunch of cement. If you can look here and see it, there's a bunch of cement, and then it goes back just a little ways, some little greenery, back to that fence. So this is a lawn that needs almost no care whatsoever, just some cleanup, and maybe, sweep the bricks every once in a while, use your weed eater, and then a very, very small amount of mowing. So pretty good. Okay, the bedroom has a decent-sized double-door closet, sliding. They slide nicely, which is good. It's probably 6 feet across by 30 inches deep, with a bar and a shelf set at exactly the perfect height. I always know because the bar here is level exactly with my eyes. That's how I know that it's where it's supposed to be. And a nice sized gap between the front edge of the shelf and the door frame means you're going to be able to get your big boxes up in there without too much problems, which is great. There is a restroom off of, or maybe it's a closet. Okay, it's a closet. I thought it was a restroom, but there's a walk-in closet here. Big, nice closet space, maybe 7 feet by 5 feet. I don't think it's 6 feet. Maybe it's 5.5 feet. It's something like that. With a bar and a shelf. It definitely could use a closet kit. You easily could put another shelf up there. In fact, that wood up there is for exactly that, to have another shelf up above. Whether it was taken down or it just never was installed, who knows. But there's definitely room for that, for a chest of drawers and whatnot in here as well. So that's pretty good. You know, depending on what's on the other side of that wall there, might also be big enough for a half bath. I don't know if you could get a tub in that spot, but you could probably get a little vanity and then a toilet over here in the corner if you wanted to change this around a little bit. Now that's assuming, of course, that you'd be able to get the plumbing done. And since we're on a slab, the cost of trenching that out, depending on where the water is already in the house, that could be expensive. So let's just have a look at the back of the house now. Let's see. It looks like this. Well, okay, hold on. We're going to stop at this panel. Okay, so the panel is appropriately marked. It's hard to see because it's kind of faint. Looks like it was done in pencil, but it is appropriately marked. That's good. And this is a square D. I can't really tell. It looks kind of like a square D. Yep, square D breakers. So I think it's a square D panel, and it's not new because the disconnect is actually in the house. Nowadays, this actually is outside so that if there is a fire in the home, the firefighters can shut the power off without having to come into the house, and that can save all sorts of problems. Okay, so there's the entry and the kitchen. Okay, and well, let's go here into the restroom. So that right now there's one restroom. Now, I see it here. Okay, here's the restroom. That back wall is called the wet wall. Okay, so there's the wet wall, and actually here is the continuation of that. So what that means is That back wall there has plumbing in it. So once again, my thought that this could easily become a second bath, at least a half bath, I think that's still a possibility. The only thing is trenching out the drain and what that cost would be. Now you have a drain right there, and then there is, of course, the drain right there. So what we're talking about is, I don't know, it's not very far. And actually, it's even less than I'm saying, because really, this wall here is on the side of that closet. So that drain, if you went all the way to the back corner and put in the toilet there, this drain, you could probably just get away with 2 feet worth of cutting in this cement slab to get the drain in place for a toilet. So that's not too bad, and that might be worth it. All right, I know I'm talking a lot about add-ons, but you don't necessarily need to do any of that. Now, the floors in the main part of the house, by the way, this is a sheet vinyl. It kind of looks like LVP. And actually, it's not sheet vinyl. It is some kind of, I don't know. It doesn't feel like LVP. It feels more solid than that. But the thing is that I see, when I'm looking down here, I see waves in it, which means that it's pressed itself tightly down on the slab. So I kind of think it probably is an LVP of some sort. I just haven't seen this particular pattern before. And it's in great shape, and I don't think it's new. And all of the seams seem like they're good. Now, I've got a call coming in. I'm going to get that, and I'll be back with you in just a moment.